Everybody back in here. I don't know what I did, man. But I definitely did something. I think everybody somewhere else. I tapped something, I was live. I tapped something else, I was on the other side of the live. Get the people in here, subscribe, thumbs up. Came in here to have a real conversation, touch on a real topic. You know what I'm saying? Touch on a real deal topic. I don't need a better setup, nothing, nigga. I just go wild. This ain't what I do full time. I just do this for the people because I'm one-on-one with what I do. It ain't nobody else out there that can do it the way I do it, talk about the things I talk about, because they don't come from where I come from or been where I've been. You know, you got some cats that can talk construction. You got some cats that can talk real estate. Some cats that can talk music. Some cats that can talk the streets. Some cats that can talk relationships. You know, I can talk about all of them. Everything I mentioned and some. You know, I'm a walking history book, and I'm still learning. And this beet juice, I didn't grow a liking to this beet juice. Keep gangster name out your mouth. See, this is what's crazy about some of you dudes. I don't know if you're a troll or not, but if I'm going into a space where some exposure been going on, and I had love for the person that's been being exposed, the last thing I'm gonna do is mention that person's name to the dude that exposed him. But we ain't here to talk about gangster today. If you wanna hear that conversation, you can go to the last two videos on this YouTube channel, the Hunter Show YouTube channel, and you can get a lot of that conversation, a lot of enlightenment on that. Or you can go to my Instagram. There's some posts and additional documents on that. Or you can tap into Christopher Lovejoy's page, his channel as well, and his Instagram, and you can get some insight on that over there on that. I'm not here to single out a target gangster on this segment. I'm actually not here to single out. I may mention some people, but when I do make mention of these people, it's not to, it's not no hate train segment today. This is real. This is targeted at everybody, you know, streets, church world, corporate America, you name it. It's targeted at everybody. So, why can't the urban community come together as one? I had somebody asked me a question the other day, and it was a Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter conversation that was going on, and it was like, Wack, what do you feel more comfortable living? In an all-black community or a mixed race community? And my initial answer was a mixed race community. And I kind of thought about that, and it was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like, why wouldn't you feel comfortable living amongst your own? And I think what happens is those of us that grew up in the ghetto, we had an ambition to get out of the ghetto because of things that were going on in the ghetto. And we know our probability rate of getting caught up or getting into some trouble is higher in the ghetto other than other places. And I think, you know, everybody got ambition to live a better life. You know what I'm saying? For you, your children, just yourself, man. You know, you get tired of hearing the ghetto bird outside and you stepping outside. I hate to say it, filth. And you got prostitutes and pimps and drug dealers and you got dope fiends and, you know, all these things going on. You know, it wears on you, especially when you look up and you see it's finding things in life. Now, when we say finding things in life, our people back in the day, You know, when they went through what they went through, the creation of soul food, when people throwing things away and they was forced to survive, they had to work together. They had to work together in the fields. They had to work together during the hard times. They had to work together, you know, when they was giving birth to somebody else's child. You know, it looked to me like, and I could be wrong, that our people were giving people. And some of our people today are still giving people. But I think back then, they were trustworthy people. And I think that goes back to when somebody asked me what community would our brother live in. The demographics definitely mean something. You know, what area you live in, the ghetto versus a Beverly Hills, or the ghetto versus, you know, a Sherman Oaks, or the ghetto versus a Manhattan Beach, or, you know, in a lot of these cities, some parts of these cities, there are good parts of the city, like Inglewood. You know, Inglewood has, believe it or not, some very large homes. And it's a city that still is growing. It's manicured. They're putting they're putting domes and you know that gentrification is going on over there. But it's still a city to where if you hit the wrong quarter or the wrong block, depending on who you are, what you got on, what kind of hat you got on, it could be a problem. Do I believe they're gonna phase these things out? Yes, they're gonna phase them out. The reason I believe that the urban community can't grow together is because we don't trust one another. We don't we don't trust one another. Period. We just don't. If I pull up, if I pull up and it's a group of black men, my antennas are up. I see a group of white people, Asians, it's really no worry. And that just comes from your upbringing and people you're used to dealing with. Today, like even with me, I've helped a lot of people. And the majority of people I help, out of 5 people, 3 of them gonna turn around and snake you because they come in with ulterior motives to do this, to do that, for their own personal gain. So they come in with a smile, but their whole time it's in the back of their mind to get what they gonna get out of you and then turn on you so they can make their move. And that's where our people go wrong. It's a lot of people I've done business with that we didn't clashed out, fell out. And you know, we still keep it cordial. We keep it where it need to be because he or she knows that it might come a time that they may need me, and I know it may come a time where I may need them. So even if we have a distaste or a disliking for one another, whatever the business may be, we understand that we both play a part in one another's business, can play a part at any point in time. You know, I said in the meeting yesterday, and in this meeting, out of 8 things mentioned, 2 of the things I know I need somebody else for. But they business partners of mine. These are people I never burnt the bridge with. I get on the phone, I call them right then, hey, you think we can make this happen? Yeah, no problem. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Handshake, we off to phase 2 of negotiating the business. Now, yesterday, I called 607 up. 607 up and various other individuals that I think may fit this format, I think can win. You know, it's factoring in content, it's factoring in merch, it's factoring in television, it's factoring in AI, it's factoring a whole lot of things. Not only can you come in doing what you do right now, but they're going to plug into, add to when it comes to marketing and ad revenue, right? But they also offer you other things that you may want to do when it comes to movies, or you want to do a series, you got an idea, to bring it to life. And they provide the compound. The compound facility was crazy. I've never seen. Snoop has a nice one. This one is crazy. It's like 30 rooms. I mean, everything you can possibly imagine is already there. And they're like, yo, we need your expertise, your reach, your influence to bring things here that we can partner with. And we don't want to control them. We just want to enhance what they do and be a part of their growth. Great. So I sit back and I think about everybody I'm doing business with. And out of all the black people in this lane, right, it was only like Akademiks, 607 Unc is a reach. We haven't really grown. I've never really met the brother in person. We got one discrepancy that we need to figure out, sit down, and get understanding with, which that won't be hard to do. 600, which, his fight now is through some of my business, right? But it's like, how many people can you trust to where you can bring them in, set them up, and then you ain't got to worry about them destroying the relationship you have to allow you to open the door for them. So you tell yourself, do you run that risk just because they black, just because they your people, just because you come from where they come from? Somebody say, Wack, why you don't go back to your community and give back? I said, for one, I'm a wolf, I'm not the sheep. Salute. I commend those that go back to their community, they get back bicycles, school supplies. I commend you for doing that. And that's what you want to do. That was your thought. That's what you came up with doing it. And cool, that's just not my thought. I tend to help the fathers or the mothers there so they can then turn around and get back to their kids or family members or, that type of thing. Everybody does it different. I'm sorry, I don't have the time to like hang out at the park all day. And I don't really see kids at the park. You know what I mean? I see hustlers and a lot of grown men. I see a bunch of people that's really not utilizing the swing sets or the overall grass area. Outside of laying a beach towel out there and shucking and driving and BSing. I see a lot of open containers. I see a lot of other activity. So that's not really my thing. But what my thing is this. If you are one of those individuals who's looking for a way, looking for information, right? I have to create something to where if it don't work out, I don't feel cheated. Meaning everything is business now. Shout out to the super chat, Trucker for Life. Everything is business, If through business, over time, we turn out to be friends. Shout out to Marcel Johnson. Love your content, brother. Thank you for getting me through my long days. Salute, Marcel. Cats like you that keep me motivated to come on here and do this. If through business, our friendship materializes, so be it. But everything is just going to be business with me because I can't come in and help you set up and get you going, and then you turn around and turn the dagger on me. Right, cool. That's like with Loose Cannon. I'm not too bothered. I made my money. Do it how you want to do it. When people say, yo, bro, y'all friendship, and I tell people it was all business. Every time you saw us together, it was at a table. Just what it was. You know what I mean? I think we might have had one or two outings, and even those outings was discussing business. They got a bowling alley one time, and I was discussing business and amongst other things that I was doing my homework on. And I think we might have sat out and had a business meeting about something. But other than that, I think the trust needs to be built. Yeah, people say, yo, No Jumper is a bunch of black people in there. Y'all could do it yourself. There's no structure for people to do it themselves. See, it seems to me that our people would rather come in and work under somebody else with structure than structure themselves because they're scared of structure. See, No Jumper is somewhat of a structured building. It's, you come in, you're either on the news or you have your own show, you know what I mean? And you come in at this time, you sit down, you pod, and we get paid, and then you leave. But as far as like the camera people, the board people, they're building. If that was a black person's building, right, with all that goes on in there and the mixture of people, if that was a black person's building, it would have been a homo up in that joint. People are more hesitant because it's somebody else's building. I don't know. Maybe it's a mentality we got. Maybe we the better mentality. I don't know what it is, right? Everybody got a motive. Everybody got their reason for doing what they doing. Maybe it's because they feel like, well, if I do this, I can't come back. You get what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But what I do know is the urban community has no trust in one another. We all think the next person is up to something. Straight up. And when I say urban community, I'm not talking about all black people. Nah. I'm talking about the urban people who's been urbanized from urban economics, the ghetto people. You get what I'm saying? Right? Coming from the streets as a gangbanger, you was a gangbanger, when you a Crip, you sitting in front of a Blood, he didn't diss to C. If you a Blood sitting in front of a Crip, he didn't diss to B. You know what I'm saying? You know this, but you trying to conduct some business, but it's still that roadblock that you kind of know who this person is. And until y'all grow into a brotherhood, like me and 600, it's a brotherhood. We don't even think about them type of things. Eddie Boy been rocking with us now for a little over a year. That's a brother that crossed over from Crippin' to Islam. So he's kind of a great balance for us. We don't think about those type of things. It's a lot of my comrades that's just not it. But a lot of these new dudes, you can see by their behavior and some of the things they do or say that it's kind of like, they kind of with you, but they still kind of like keeping the door open in case they got to go at you. And that's cool, but that's the things you can't trust. You just can't trust them. So I think the problem is the trust factor. Now, do two wrongs make a right? Okay, Wack, you go at a lot of our people. I will beat my chest to say I'm always responding. I'm always on the defense. My defense just turns into offense, special teams, kickoff return, the coaching staff, the owners, and the cheerleaders too. I'm a full package once it's on. And because my reaction to one's actions is so loud and so dominant and so explosive, it looks like it's all me. But y'all can't find a situation where I just went at somebody. It's a whole lot of people I got a whole lot of information on. And I don't say nothing about it because there's no reason for me to say nothing about it. People try to paint this picture like Wack just runs around bothering people. Man, if you don't bother me, I won't bother you. Now, on the other hand, content is content. If I'm on the Clubhouse app, on the 100 side of Clubhouse, and there's a link up that's been viewed by thousands of people or millions of people, and they ask me my opinion, it seems to think, although another million people that already gave their opinion in the comments or whether they've talked about it on another platform, whenever Wack seems to give his opinion, it seems to dominate all as if Wack just created this content when it wasn't even my content to create and to begin with. I'm just commenting on it, right? So, is there other ways you can deal with things? Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. A person could destroy a person on social media. You can destroy a person physically in the streets, right? The street, it hurts because you can get hit. You can end up in the hospital. One could end up in prison attempting to protect itself. All kind of things could happen. Or innocent people could get hurt. But on social media, you can like kind of target that person, which is what I choose to do. You know what I mean? They say, Wack, you always on here saying this about somebody. I don't never say nothing about a person who ain't said something about me already. And that's what I had to tell a person last night, bro. Do you think I'm gonna sit up here and allow you to speak on me, right? And well, Wack, he did that a year and a half ago. Hey, look, brother, I'm patient. I'm a man, right? I've done time in prison. You know what I'm saying? I know how to be patient. I'm not gonna attack you and you want me to attack you. The element of surprise is on my side. I'm gonna let you get nice and comfortable, like you done forgot about it. And when you least expect it, boom, here it come. You think Japan knew Hiroshima was coming? They had no idea. You think the United States knew the attack on Pearl Harbor was coming? They had no idea. That's why it was so devastating. It was the element of surprise to let people scrambling and trying to prepare. How do I counter, right? And that's part of my strategy because when I attack you, you feel the need to respond back because I'm going to hit you with a lot, but not all, just to send you into a frenzy. So when you start responding back, you give me some more to terrorize you with. Wack, you doing this to your own people, you right. Wack, you contributing to the problem. Okay, you right. Unfortunately, salute to Martin Luther King, who followed the ways of Gandhi, of peace. I kind of tend to favor the ways of Malcolm, wholeheartedly, even when it comes to him breaking away from the movement because he saw some things that he realized wasn't right, right? An eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? You put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands back on you. So is that something I probably need to work on? Definitely. Wack, how do you work on these things? Well, first of all, I don't know if you've been paying attention. First of all, you have to detach from those elements or those surroundings or those people who put you in those situations to have to respond that way, first and foremost. My last little episode with Adam, I did great. I give myself probably a C. How I handled that. One, I didn't put my hands on him, and the old me would have. Two, I didn't start verbally attacking him and his, right, for get back, and the old me would have. Well, why you give yourself a C? Well, I would have gave myself a B if I just wouldn't have responded to it. I just wouldn't have had nothing to say about it. Just let him talk to himself. But I felt the need to address something. So that's why I fell short of the B. But what would have got you an A? A if I just simply wasn't around it. If it simply was not in my reach, it wasn't in my realm. And part of that simply is, part of that is me still wanting to be accessible to the people. I know it ain't a lot of people like me out there to where our people could actually reach and go on the app or DM or and get a type of response to address certain things. I know that. It's like, I mean, the closest thing to a me is I don't know, AD over there, but AD ain't me and I ain't AD. As far as in tune to the, I think I'm a little more accessible than AD and T-Rail. And I do it intentionally. Will they had a conversation with you? Yeah, but AD still in his own world. You know, he got a little wall around him to where if you know that you know. You know, if you don't, you don't. If you happen to run into him in passing, yeah, he'll definitely stop, have a conversation. He's that type of guy, right? But I kind of feel like, yo, Wack, you know, you need it for the people. But then you got to ask yourself, Wack, well, if you doing this for the people, then what the people doing for you? Then you got to say, well, you can't be focused and concerned about that because it's about what your intentions and your motivation is for the overall people. And then you got to ask yourself, well, Wack, who are the people? Are you just saying black people? Or are you just saying people in general? Who are your people? Who are the ones that you want to align yourself with, identify yourself with, and for your continued growth? And I gotta say, it's the overall people. So with me saying that, I'm gonna start adjusting to where 80% of my focus is with the overall people. The other 20%, I'm gonna leave with the people that I've gotten to know, that I know. Keep in mind that they may need help and be there to help them. But as far as the this open arm policy I've been having, nah, I can't do it because I'm putting myself in a situation where I might have to react based upon another person's actions. And that's not their fault. At that point in time, it's my fault. Super chat from Teflon Von Wack, you should interview the women who accuse Adam of sexual misconduct since his all content and the voice of his alleged victims need to be heard. I'm gonna be real, Teflon Von. I've never knew of any women who accuse Adam of anything. I'm just gonna be real with you. I've never heard that. I ain't that type of dude, you know, and I ain't got no issues with Adam. I may have a disliking for some of his movements and some of the decisions he may have made, but I ain't got no dislike for Adam. I don't know. And I believe if that did exist, Adam has enough haters out there that somebody would have been found these people and interviewed these people. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that even exists or even anything about that. I heard you ain't Paru from Boulevard Sleepy. The fact that you even wrote that like that lets me know you're not from here. So there's no need to even have that conversation with you. I know y'all don't like to hear this, but when you are out of towner and you don't come from where I come from, and out of towner would be real, outside of San Diego and maybe the greater San Bernardino, IE area, that's probably the only places I may give some grace because their backyard ain't no different than ours. But I don't even have them conversations with y'all because y'all don't know what you're talking about anyway. You really, in fact, I don't worry about y'all growing celery wherever you at or how y'all stack hay. Ain't to my concern. I can care less, right? I don't have gang conversations with people that's not in gangs unless I'm running some content to persuade you from gangs, which what my overall thing on gangster has been. Our overall content on Big U has been. For those of y'all took that as a personal attack, that wasn't a personal attack. That was to bring awareness to our youth that a lot of these things that they're perpetrating is the way to be, the way to go, things to do, be like me. That's not the truth. Because even these dudes that say these the rules didn't follow the rules. A lot of them told, a lot of them messing with people of the community, which if that's your thing, yeah, be open with it. But being open with that is not being the 100 with another situation, right, Victor? What you feel about 4Xtra's hand? It was an accident. What do you mean? It's not my hand. I can't feel nothing. Like, so he's the one going through all that pain and physically and mentally. It was an accident. Shit happens. We all had accidents. Some a little more worse than others. Why are you coming for young NFA? I've never said a word about young NFA. Try again. Sometimes people say things about me or clickbait titles. Hey, listen, that will come with being a name, being somebody to talk about. I don't mind. Show that badge number. Never had a badge number. What's your serious opinion on the Forex and Adam situation? I've talked about that 10 times. Go check in some of the other old content. Wack, why you talk gangster on No Jumper, but here trying to speak all positive? What do you mean I talk gangster on No Jumper? On me. I address whatever topics is on the table. Have a discussion about a topic or being stern or aggressive about something is not talking gangster. Talking gangster is saying gangster shit, right? So I don't know what you mean by talk gangster. If you saying you see me as that because I may be a little aggressive in my demeanor, my approach, that's just me being me. How do you feel about your stepbrother? I don't have a stepbrother. Sit in love with South America. Shout out, South America. Why Adam make you beg? He told you one time. I didn't beg Adam for nothing. I told Adam several times, do what you want to do. I never asked him not to do something. Do what you want to do. You got to understand this. I'm very capable of responding, attacking. I'm not like the other dudes. My voice goes, right? If that's what I want to do. When I tell a person, I tell my children, do it your way. I'm going to take note, and as a human being, as a man, I'll do it my way if and when that time ever comes. Not to say I'm going to do anything at all. I just take mental note from, I'm going to give you what you gave me. I'm a little more pettier. I'm probably going to go a little harder if my mind is on countering something. But it's just, sometimes, you be moving in a way to where you was willing to sacrifice some things and do this and do this and do that. But you may see some things you may need to adjust. It may not be what you thought it was, and that's cool. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that I do understand. That I had to tell myself, like, bro, you dealing with somebody who his whole world is content. To a point to where everything around him is part of the content business, right? And with me saying that, I'm still being respectful. So you can't expect him to have the same mentality you have, right? When it comes to certain things. So if he don't see it that way for himself, why would he see it that way for you? That's just what it is, right? So, it definitely is I believe as a man, he sat in front of me. As I've seen the seriousness in him with certain things, he's seen the seriousness in me. And I think, he has enough respect to say, okay, well, baby, that's probably not nothing to play with Wack with. You know what I'm saying? I see you probably really wanted to snap, but, he maintained his composure, so, why poke the bear? It's certain bears that I don't poke no more. I see what that is. I'm like, okay, I see what that is. Leave that alone, for whatever reason. But we're going to get back to this urban community. Do I think the urban community will ever grow as one? No. We as a people were too competitive. What man got the better suit on? Who's driving the better car? I don't care what it is, right? We're too competitive. And because we're so competitive, that blinds our mind to what we can do to build. You get what I'm saying? Everybody's coming into a situation with one thing. What is it going to do for me? Nobody's coming in this and say, how can we build this so it does something for everybody? Because you got a lot of names that if they came together under one building, let's think about it. Let's think about it. Let's just go West Coast. You got Flacco. You got Alex Alonso over there. And Hefe, Compton Rick Rock. You got Community. Um, we just talking West Coast, right? Just to name a few. So you got all these things, and then you got different entities within these things, like AD. He has other business going on that's within his business. I myself have the reach to go create an umbrella for everybody to say, hey, we got these people, they're gonna give us a couple million. Off the gate, it's 7 of us, right? We're gonna hit everybody with $250 million up front. We partner with these people, 70, 30% cut. They're gonna bring ad revenue, but open the doors for us to also do television series, AI, movies, documentaries. Everybody from different neighborhoods, everybody got different stories, everybody been to prison, got their own life story. You build on here, makes people interested in what your story was. So now that's a different stream of revenue. I mean, it could keep going and keep going, keep going. But out of all them people I named, I probably only trust a handful of them, you know. 80, Flacco, 600. You know, out of all them people, that's probably the only ones I really trust. You know, a few people with 80 pun and, you know, them people like that. Gina Views and my boy DJ Head, they in that, but they in their own lane. That's why they're gonna be okay, because they have alienated themselves away from the urban, and they're not being looked at as urban, even though they do a lot of black culture stuff. The umbrella they're under is not urban. The topics they talk about, it may be rap music or hip hop driven, but it's still talked about on a different level. It is not talked about as far as who did what to what, who shot who did, who snitched, who told you. Never hear that over there. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's definitely a move we can make. Now, do I want to participate in it? I will work with a chosen few individuals. Overall, definitely not, because it's like setting me back, because one of y'all gonna do something or do some snake shit, and then that's gonna lead to me being upset, which now I gotta be mad at myself, because either I gotta let it go or put myself in a situation where my life or my freedom is being jeopardized because I made a decision that I knew I should make. Somebody asked me, Wack, do you not like gangster? I have nothing against gangster. I haven't done anything to say I don't like gangster. All I did was stated the facts and correct one when they saying something's a lie, show that it's the truth. That's it. So, you know, for somebody to be mad at me about me reading, then you got to be mad at yourself, because you are the reason why the text is on this paper for me to read. So it ain't a dislike. It's just that you have my name in your mouth. I got yours in my mouth. You get what I'm saying? You know, it's a lot of unstable history there with gangster, even with my neighborhood. You know, the murder he did time for was somebody from Pacoima, even though he didn't commit the murder, and the dude wasn't a Paru or nothing. He was a non-affiliate. I think a fist fight broke out behind whatever broke out. When the smoke cleared, it was a body. You know, he was from Pacoima, though. Wasn't from the neighborhood. I don't even believe he was if he'd have been anything, he might have been OVG, if anything. And that was way back in the 80s, I believe. So, but then again, that was never nothing on my plate. I met gangster, it was 100 people with me in Atlanta. Back when Game and the Young Thug beef was going on, Gangster was with the mayor of Compton. She was a female back then. She was a friend of mine as well. When I walked in, he was sitting there. We was 100 strong because it was things going on between Game and Thug. If y'all, those of y'all around that remember that. Believe Yak Gotti might have spoke on that. It was probably about 2 hours before I ran into Yak, across that street. him and Lil Pete Weed, I ran into Gangster. You know, it was a handshake, introduction. I heard of your name, and that was it. So to hear him double back and say something ill towards me was a little weird. You know, Gangster in his 60s, I believe. You know, do he need these problems and headache? No, he don't. Did he jump out into some waters that he couldn't survive in? Yes, he did. Is there other things I could present and with? Yes, it is. But my whole thing is, he go on mute, I go on mute. He shoot, I'm busting back. And I'm busting back with wild shit. I'm not a bully. I give a person time to retract and go their way, right? But I ain't never nobody's punching bag as well. But again, I believe that I think more of my targeting should be our people, not the street and urban people. You street and urban people, I'm gonna be real, there's probably some of y'all out there that's cool, but y'all not the answer. Ladies, the square dude is what's in style. I'm gonna tell you, leave these street dudes alone, because they don't know whether they going or coming. Me personally, I wanna start building with those people that's educated more than me, because that strength is my position in that, who has great ideas to where I can utilize my resources and we bring it together. Those people are more pure. They're not really coming into this thing. They're not really coming into this thing with, what could I do? How could I get over on Wack? They coming into this thing talking about how can I do some business. Those are the people I want to deal with. You're gonna hear less and less and less of the BS when it comes to the overall urban thing. Urban side of things are slowing down as a whole. So if you're not crossing over into doing something different or enhancing or adding to what you're doing, you're gonna get left behind. That's just the bottom line. Y'all can call me what you wanna call me. You ain't gonna call me stupid. You ain't gonna call me slow. And I definitely know how to catch up and pass you up, straight up. So those of y'all, I'm looking forward to dealing with Dairy Clan, any upcoming events, charity, master classes, or podcast tour in the works. Dairy Clan, appreciate your super chat. We definitely had that going on. And I feel like it's more personalities out there, not just the people that can talk about who got killed, who told. I think it's personalities that can talk about banking, real estate, how to build a company, how to protect and or fix your relationship. By the way, R&B just landed her contract yesterday for her podcast, Ego, coming soon. We putting that together. We got a few animation television series coming out on the Tronics Network. We're working on that. And we're working on doing this joint venture deal with this company that we went and sat down with for 6 hours yesterday. And they showed us their whole layout. And there's everything there, A to Z, A to Z. So yes, it will be another building. It will be another place on the West Coast where a person could come in and plug into, right? As of right now, we got No Jumper, which is probably the largest podcast on the West Coast. And they do a certain type of content, and they do what they do. We got Bootleg Kev over there. We got Community and Back on Fig. Really is the focus out here. So what I'm about to do is to all the other people who's not necessarily compatible to the street culture or the gangbang culture, or shout out to Victor for your super chat. $2, $1, it don't matter, it all counts, salute. For all those people that's not what they do, but they can have religious conversations or conversations about relationships, business, how to do this, the do's and not the do's, how to enroll in the military, the pros and cons of the military, just everything as a whole. We got a few people up there, that's what they want to do. Cool, we may entertain it, we may not. But That don't get to ad revenue. That scares the people. Another problem we have with our urban culture when it comes to this podcasting thing, everything we doing and talk about is not attractive to the consumer. It's not. Jaguar don't want to put their commercial there. You know, Sprite don't want to put their commercial there, and they just don't want to do it. Right, and I understand that. So it got to be a shift in it. And don't get me wrong, the personality that you guys see on No Jumper, that's a great personality. I'm going to continue my run over it. I like No Jumper. You know, there's a few cool dudes in there I like. You know, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's other lanes out there for things to do. No Jumper is only so big. Adam is only going to juggle so much because he has to look at what he's bringing in versus what he's doing, how much startup money is going to take those first couple months, getting a person going. Does it fit his format? Whether people want to see these things? All these things have to factor in. So what I'm going to do with No Jumper is just simply bring over the business of the ad revenue and maybe do something, add that to our building. I'm definitely interested in a teen podcast. I got with Ray J. He's coming up with a way we can figure out and doing it. And when I brought him the teen situation, he came up with an overall situation, not just teens, rappers, producers, people that want to be on reality shows. He gonna let people do their little 2-minute clip, send it in to the Tronics Network, put it up. We going over it, seeing who fit, who might not fit, and then we're gonna start our boot camp from there. Then we'll start calling people out and then creating our segment and creating these personalities and helping birth these new voices in this game. So yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. But nevertheless, y'all tune in to No Jumper, No Jumper News. The Adam and Wax Show should be, it was up. It's been up since Sunday, 12 noon. Check out the last one. Definitely give me a thumbs up. Bang that subscription button. You know, y'all know I'm the founder of the Social Media Ninjas, right? I'm the founder of the Social Media Ninjas, where we stay strapped with our charge cord. Stay strapped with this charge cord, right? Bang that subscription button. You want to be part of the 100 gang guy, the 100 show gang guy, hit that subscribe. Give me that thumbs up. And don't be scared to be exposed. Exposure doesn't always mean a negative thing. Don't be scared. You want to see Flacco saying, click the link that you see right here? You want to interview with Wack 100 one-on-one here? You want to come to the Clubhouse app where the 100 Show media team is? Interview with me there. Get you out to the YouTube streets. You want your links shared in my stories, the Poetic Flacco stories, things of that nature? Go to the 100 Show Instagram bio. Fill out the form. The lovely queen R&B will see it, schedule you, and we'll get to the business. Right? Right. I want to end this. I lost one of my comrades, one of my brothers, Pitbull, from original Harlem 30 Crib. Some people know him as Brother Gregory, N-O-I-F-O-I, to a tragic motorcycle accident. I want to send my condolences to the family. Pitbull been with me a long time. He's bodyguarded for Rihanna, Kanye West, Detail, Ray J, Brandy. He was my daughter's personal bodyguard since she's been 13 years old. She's 21 now. Real good brother, well respected. Tragic motorcycle accident. But what we lost in the physical, we gained in the spiritual. He leaves behind 2 children and a host of loved ones. Shout out to the Undisputed Bike Club, which whom he had just started riding with. Against my wishes, I didn't want him out there, but you know, he a grown man and it is what it is. I know we see death as a negative thing, but shit, who knows? Maybe we down here in hell and they up there in paradise. You know what I mean? Only thing I know, I got enough people that done left me over these years to where I know the table be set when my calling comes. So we want to send a blessing to Pitbull's family, Brother Gregory X, to the Muslim community and our community. And think about what I'm saying. Those of y'all get ready. Those of y'all that felt like, Wack, you always want to talk to the gangbangers and the messy stuff. Nah, we switching reels. We switching lanes. Business, finance, relationship, religion, startup, real estate, how to build, how to flip, foreign and domestic trade. You know what I mean? How to white label a product, how to create your own product, how to obtain the startup costs to start a business, what loans are out there for us as a people. Us as a people, all ethnic groups across the board. It's just not a black thing. This is an everybody thing. And y'all stay tuned. Y'all follow the lovely R&B. Get ready for Ego. I believe 607 Unc. I supposed to be her co-host, but she keeps telling me I'm not ready. And she has some type of boot camp I have to go through before I can sit at her table. And that's her thing, right? My queen is a reflection of me and an image of me. So I'm gonna respect her vision. You know what I mean? So in the meantime, between time, y'all stay safe out there. Bang that subscription button. We in these YouTube streets. Y'all with the founder of the social media ninjas who stay strapped with that charge cord. Give me a thumbs up. Appreciate y'all kicking it with me this 51 minutes and 47 seconds. Until next time, be safe out there. We out.